In the summer of 1590, an English ship arrived at the coast of Roanoke Island, off what is now North Carolina. The crew expected to find a struggling colony in desperate need of supplies. Instead, they found silence. The settlement was abandoned. Homes stood empty. Tools and belongings had been left behind. There were no bodies, no signs of battle, no evidence of escape. More than 100 men, women, and children had vanished without explanation. Only one clue remained, a single word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan. More than 400 years later, the Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. What happened to the settlers? Did they starve? Were they killed? Or did they disappear willingly into the unknown wilderness of the New World? This is the story of the colony that vanished without a trace. In the year 1590, an English colony vanished without a trace. More than 100 settlers, gone from the edge of the New World. No bodies were ever found. No signs of battle remained. Only a single word carved into wood: Croatoan. This is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke. By the late 1500s, England was desperate to expand its power. Spain already controlled enormous territories across the Americas, growing rich from gold, silver, and trade. England wanted a foothold in the New World. A permanent English settlement could become a military base, a source of resources, and the beginning of an empire. But the American coast was dangerous and unfamiliar. Previous attempts to establish colonies had failed. Still, the English crown remained determined. In 1587, a new expedition was organized under the leadership of John White. Unlike earlier missions, this colony was not made up only of soldiers and explorers. This time, entire families were sent across the Atlantic. Men, women, and children boarded ships bound for a land they had never seen. Many believed they were traveling toward a better future. Few understood how dangerous that future would become. After weeks crossing the Atlantic Ocean, the settlers finally arrived on Roanoke Island. The land was beautiful, but unforgiving. Dense forests surrounded the coastline. The humid air carried unfamiliar sounds. Storms could appear without warning. And beyond the settlement, powerful indigenous tribes controlled the surrounding territory. At first, the colonists focused on survival. Shelters were built from wood. Food supplies were organized. Fields were prepared for farming. But almost immediately, problems began to emerge. The colony lacked enough food. The soil was difficult to work. Tensions with local tribes increased, and many settlers had little experience surviving in wilderness conditions. Fear slowly spread through the colony. Every day became a struggle. As conditions worsened, John White faced a difficult choice. The colony desperately needed supplies and reinforcements. Without outside help, survival seemed impossible. White had decided to return to England personally to organize a rescue mission. Before leaving, he promised the settlers he would come back quickly. If danger forced them to relocate, they agreed on a signal. The colonists would carve the name of their destination into wood. And if they were under attack, they would add a carved cross nearby. It was a simple plan. At the time, no one imagined it would become one of history's most haunting clues. In late 1587, John White sailed back to England. He expected to return within months. But Europe was on the edge of war. As White arrived in England, tensions between England and Spain exploded into open conflict. The Spanish Armada threatened invasion. Ships were urgently needed for war. Because of this, White was unable to immediately return to Roanoke. Months passed, then years. White desperately tried to organize another voyage across the Atlantic, but the war consumed England's resources. For nearly 3 years, the colony remained completely isolated. No supplies arrived. No communication returned. No one in England knew whether the settlers were still alive. Meanwhile, somewhere across the ocean, the fate of Roanoke unfolded in silence. In 1590, John White finally managed to return to Roanoke Island. What he discovered shocked him. The colony was deserted. Homes had been dismantled. Buildings stood abandoned. The settlement showed no signs of violent destruction. There were no bodies, no graves, no signs of battle. It was as if the entire colony had simply disappeared. Then, White discovered something carved into a wooden post. The word Croatoan. Nearby, the letters Crow had also been carved into a tree. But there was something strange. No cross had been carved beside the message, which suggested the colonists had not left under immediate attack. At least, not according to their original agreement. The most widely accepted theory is that the settlers attempted to join nearby indigenous communities. The Croatoan people lived on a nearby island, known today as Hatteras Island. Some historians believe the colonists relocated there in order to survive. It would explain the carved message. It would also explain the lack of violence. Over the centuries, reports emerged claiming that later explorers encountered indigenous groups with European features or knowledge of English customs. But evidence remains uncertain. No definitive proof has ever confirmed the colonists merged with local tribes. And even if they did, why was the settlement abandoned so completely? Other historians believe the colony simply could not survive. Food shortages were severe. The environment was harsh. Disease may have spread through the settlement. Some researchers believe the settlers attempted to move inland in search of better conditions. If they became lost, weakened, or divided, the wilderness could easily have consumed them. In the late 1500s, the American frontier was brutal. Storms, hunger, infection, and isolation killed countless early settlers. Roanoke may simply have become another tragedy swallowed by history. But the mystery remains unsettling. Entire colonies do not usually vanish without leaving behind evidence. Roanoke left almost nothing. As the mystery grew over centuries, darker explanations emerged. Some believed the settlers were massacred by hostile forces. Others claimed Spanish troops may have secretly destroyed the colony. There were even rumors of supernatural causes, curses, ghost stories, disappearances into the wilderness. The lack of answers allowed imagination to fill the silence. And silence surrounded Roanoke for centuries. Even modern archaeology has struggled to uncover the truth. Every discovery seems to raise new questions instead of solving old ones. Today, archaeologists continue searching for clues. Excavations on Roanoke Island and nearby areas have uncovered fragments of tools, pottery, weapons, and maps. Some discoveries suggest at least part of the colony may have relocated inland. But no single theory explains everything. No complete remains of the colony have ever been found. No official record describes their final days. and no surviving witness ever revealed what truly happened. The lost colony remains suspended between history and legend. More than 4 centuries later, Roanoke still fascinates historians around the world, because the mystery is larger than one colony. It represents humanity's fear of the unknown. A group of people crossed an ocean searching for a future, and somewhere between hope and survival, they disappeared. Maybe the settlers joined another community and slowly vanished into history. Maybe they died alone in the wilderness. Or maybe the full truth was lost forever, long before anyone came looking for it. But one question still remains. How does an entire colony disappear without leaving a trace? And perhaps even more disturbing, what if the answer was never meant to be found? History never truly ends. It only waits to be found again. If you've reached this far, thank you for keeping history alive. Subscribe and discover the stories the world forgot.